It is a huge week this week. My goodness me. This Saturday is the squad 5 year party. So Lorna's online squad has been going for 5 years. How mental is that? So for those of you who don't know me or you're just like starting to get to know me, previous to lockdown, the big L word. I was teaching in lots of gyms around Nottinghamshire. And then when lockdown hit, this is when Lorna's online squad was actually initially born. And we went into it out of a place of we've got to do something, we've got to keep our routines going and give structure to our day, which I really think the online classes still massively provide. Like that structure and that routine is so important, especially for sticking to a fitness routine. Anyway, into what it is today, which is an incredible online fitness community where we all work out together. We have our focuses, we have our challenges, we do fun workouts, and we work our whole well-being, not just, doing a cardio class, getting all sweaty, but we work our core strength, our glutes, our balance. We're shaping our bodies, we're improving our mobility, and also, most importantly, feeling good in ourselves. And also we've been looking at nutrition. Gosh, we do so much. We do so much, and Tech Will has been working tirelessly in the background to make it even better. So I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, he's been doing a lot of work. So if you are part of the squad and you saw the email on Friday, you've had a little sneaky peek. But anyway, this weekend is the big celebration, and I know it's going to be emotional. I know it's going to be mega. It really is, and I still wholly stand by starting the online squad was literally the best decision I ever made. And it's changed so many people's lives. Cheesy as it sounds, like I really want to do this to change as many people's lives as I can. And it continues to do that. And through our 6 week reboot as well, which is how everybody starts with us. Apart from those of you who are on the 14-day challenge, which is a one off that we're doing at the moment, we really do change people's lives to the better. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to continue to keep doing my absolute best at it. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be big. It's going to be really big. Got my dress. Got my dress. And actually, do you know what I've also done as well? My sister was like, "Oh, Lorna, what about getting your makeup done?" And I don't ever do that. Like, if you're watching this right now, you'll see my hair is up. My hair is up in a bun. I have no makeup on. I say that I go for the au naturel look. Anyway, she's persuaded me to go and get my makeup done because it's a special occasion. So I am. So you know what? You won't even recognize me. You'll be like, who is this girl? I won't even recognize me. Anyway, shall we start the Q&A? Let's get on with the questions. I've broken them up into different sections. So we're going to talk about strength training, muscle building to start off with. And that's for if you want to tone up, but you don't want to get bulky. We'll move on to weight loss, diet, and then stress, like just stress, have a correlation with weight gain, etc. And then talking about recovery, if you're aching, should you then actually have a rest day or is it okay to continue to work out? Magnesium, if you are perimenopausal or menopausal, how do you banish that weight gain? And then a couple of other things as well. So some snack and lunch ideas and all sorts. So we've got 24 questions. So I'm going to go through them in as much detail as I feel necessary and to help you in the best way I can, but also at the same time not to drag this out because I know time is of essence, people. So question number one, I know strength training with weights is advised, but when I've done this with a lot of gym weights resistance work in the past, I found my arms and shoulders are bulking up to an extent that my blouses felt tighter. How can I avoid this? If anything, I'd like to reduce bulk in my arms as that's where I carry my weight. Shapely is a bonus. Okay, so to improve muscular tone without bulking up, you want to be doing lighter weights and higher repetition. So you're looking at 12, 15 reps really, slash plus more. So if you do workouts like Stronger, for example, where we are doing bicep curls for 5 to 6 minutes, you are not going to build bulk and you are still going to shape your upper body. So that's kind of what you want to be doing. And that is generally what we do in the squad anyway. We use lighter weights and do higher repetitions, and you are not going to bulk out doing that kind of work. Also, to quote unquote bulk, you need to be eating in a calorie surplus. So your calories in need to be greater than calories out. So if you were looking to build muscle, and this actually also goes if you want to tone up and you want to tone up quickly. If you're looking to do that, you want to be in a calorie surplus because muscles need feeding. So you need to be feeding the muscle whilst working the muscle, and then your muscle replenishes itself, it gets bigger, it gets stronger. So you want to be basically looking to maintain your weight, but if you want to be shapely, of course we need to be working the muscles. And besides, it's important to do that anyway. It's really important. So what I would say is lighter weights, high repetition, and make sure you still are doing it and you're not going to be eating in a calorie surplus. That is how you're going to do it. And yeah, like I said, if you're doing things like, our stronger workouts, for example, you're really not going to build bulk doing that. If you really want to improve I was going to say muscular tone, but if you're looking to increase your muscle size, you really want to be going heavier and much less repetitions. So you'd be doing like probably like up to 8 in a row, for example. But you probably wouldn't even go that far. You'd be probably looking at smaller numbers and just really, really focusing on getting that weight up. But as in weight on the resistance bar, etc. But no, you're not going to do that in the squad. So I hope that's reassuring. And yes, shapely they will be. Just keep on doing your strength at least twice a week. That's what I always say. Strength workouts minimum twice a week. And that's for everybody. I'd like to lose some fat, but also build muscle. Is it possible to do that at the same time? Okay, so this is really similar to the last question. I know doing strength training helps to stop muscle loss, but is it actually possible to gain muscle while in a calorie deficit? Okay, so it's similar to the last question, but what it's saying instead is you want to improve your muscular tone. So you want to build some muscle, but you also want to lose fat at the same time. Yes, it's possible. Yes, you can do it, but it does take longer. So what you'll see a lot of people who do these like bodybuilding competitions is they will quote unquote bulk. So they will eat in a calorie surplus. So they'll really feed their muscles at the same time as, of course, they'll have to accept that they're going to gain they're going to gain more fat by doing that as well, because they're going to be eating in big surpluses. They're going to be training hard at the gym to build as much muscle mass as possible. And then you'll see them kind of shred it off, trying to maintain as much of that muscle that they've built up whilst losing fat. So that would kind of be your faster way of doing it, if you like. But what you want to do if you want to build muscle but also lose fat at the same time, and you don't want to do it that way, just make sure that number one, you are strength training and you're strength training regularly, but whilst also giving yourself enough rest. So you know how I just said minimum twice a week? You probably want to be increasing that. You probably want to do like 3 to 4 times a week with your strength training, using resistance, making sure that you are having adequate rest days in between. And so, for example, one of those days, you might even do a split. You might just do like upper body one day and lower body the next day, because you're giving the other part of your body a bit of a rest, if you see what I mean. You could do it that way. You want to make sure you're eating enough protein to replenish your muscles, sleeping well, having a good balanced diet, water. But yeah, strength training and protein, they're going to be your absolute musts. And being in a calorie deficit, but a moderate one. So calorie deficit meaning that calories out are greater than calories in. So we do that by manipulating our portion sizes, just having a little bit less. But we don't want to take it too far, because if you're in a big calorie deficit, you will be losing some muscle mass with that as well, most likely. So being in a moderate calorie deficit, so for example, losing like half a pound to a pound a week. And if your focus is to build muscle at the same time, don't forget that if you are building muscle, then muscle is denser than fat. So your body composition might be completely and utterly changing, but the scales might not necessarily depict that exact picture, if you get what I mean. So you're better off taking progress pictures, maybe doing measurements like waist, hips, for example, or your muscles. But yes, it is entirely possible to do it. And I hope that helps. I hope that's answered the question. What exercise can you do if you injure your knee? I.e. upper body exercises. Yes, Yes. So if you are injured, rest is always best. And of course, please take advice from the physios and medical professionals. But you can definitely do upper body. So you could do, if you go on to On Demand, for example, literally go on there and type upper body in, and we've got loads of upper body stuff. You could even do the stronger stuff, but without doing the squat track, for example, as well. But I would just go on there and literally type in upper body, and there'll be loads of things you can do. And don't forget also, we've got the desk area. So you could go onto desk workouts and do some of the stuff on there as well, because there's loads of really good upper body and even cardio things. Like you can do so much cardio sat in a chair, it's unreal. But having a little look at that, put some stuff in your favorites. So you've got a little almost like your own playlist of things that you want to try, and then you can go through them. Help! I have signed up to do the Yorkshire Three Peaks in May. I'm really quite nervous as walking 24 miles in 12 hours over challenging terrain sounds so tough. Do you have any advice on the best way to train for this? Oh my goodness, that is so exciting. And yes, I've done it twice. So me and Will did it. So last year we did the Edel Skyline Challenge, and it was the year before then. Yeah, that's right. And we did a practice walk, just me and Will together. We couldn't walk afterwards. It was so funny. We did it. We did it, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll be fine, we'll be fine. Did it together, just me and Will, just to, get the route, test it out for all the squaddies who were going to be doing it a few months later. And we went to Morrison's in Yorkshire on the way. Well, I say on the way back, we're just staying in a hotel because you do not want to drive after doing that. Will got out the car and well, he couldn't get out the car in Morrison's, and I laughed so hard that I was crying, and then I couldn't do it. Anyway, it's so funny. Yeah, so basically, yes, training, let's start now. Right. You want to really give yourself yeah, you want to give yourself a minimum 2 months. I mean, you said you're doing it in May, so we want to start now, okay? We want to begin training now, increasing your walking distance. You want to be finding hills. So get yourself to Derbyshire or wherever, get on some hills. You want to be building up your walk fitness. You want to be building up the endurance, probably up to, so your longest walk, you want to be going to about at least like 18 miles. So working up to that. But of course, we don't want to go from nothing to being like, right, this weekend I'm going to go on a 15-mile walk. Let's build it up. Let's be sensible about it. So let's start off with, say, I'm going to go on a 6-mile walk this weekend. Next weekend, we're going to go 8. The weekend after, I'm going to do 10. I'm going to build it up. The weekend after, I'm going to do 12, 13, building it up to round about 18. And then, of course, give yourself a couple of weeks to, at least a couple of weeks to kind of like deload a little bit. So make a plan now. Make a plan, set some days aside where you're going to do your longer walks and build up to about 18-ish, 18-ish miles. In the meantime, to support your walking, you want to be doing booty band. That is going to give you glute strength, your hammies, your quads. Do that. You also want to be working on your Pilates because that's really important for your core strength. Do it in the boots that you're going to be wearing. Please don't get new boots just before it. Do it in the boots you're going to be wearing, and also with a rucksack, taking plenty of water. And for the actual day, I would say my top tip is it's a hard walk and it's all about what's going on in your head as well. It's all endurance. Keep breaks to an absolute minimum. It is a killer if you stop like I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes for a sandwich, because then you got to go again. Like just keep breaks so short and just plow through, eat on the go and keep eating. Eat before you need to eat. It's a long way. So practice some of your nutrition as well, what you're going to take with you. Eat before you need to. That's my best advice, because when you need to, it is not nice. It is not good. And you don't want to be going lightheaded or feeling like yeah, your blood sugar levels have dipped, etc., when you've got a massive mountain to climb up. So yes, very exciting though. So booty band, Pilates are your friends. You could also do a HIIT or a sculpt once a week to build up that cardio fitness too. Very exciting. And any thoughts on weighted vests for walking? I see lots of references to them, but I'm not sure on the benefits. Yeah, Absolutely. They can be great. So they're going to be adding obviously that extra load, so a little bit of extra endurance. So when you're walking, maybe a bit of extra cardio as well, your heart's going to be working harder. If you just think about it, it's increasing like the mass that your body is under, right? So just increasing the load that your body's under, engaging your muscles, helping to improve endurance. But I would start light and gradually increase it if that's what you're wanting to do. And also be very, very wary of your posture when you're wearing it because it can alter your posture quite significantly. Um, yeah, I've never actually used one myself, but yeah, I don't really have anything against them. Are there any really effective exercises for regaining ab strength after having a baby? This is a really weak point for me. So I would be mainly focusing on working your deep core muscles. And this is something that we did today in class, actually. So if you go onto your on-demand, type deep core in or transverse abdominis. This is the area, it's like the corset that goes around your body, your trunk, if you like. And it's really important to improve your deep core muscles. And depending on if you've had any complications or if you've had like experience diastasis recti, which is basically abdominal separation, we don't really be wanting to do things like, we don't really want to be doing things like crunches, which are putting extra pressure on those muscles at the front. So we want to be almost re-knitting everything back together. So working the deep core. So that they're the classes I'd be focusing on. And it's moves such as Superman, moves such as even things like knee drops, dead bugs, glute bridges, etc. But you'll see that in those classes. So that's what I do first and foremost. And also speak to a specialist in that area, or you can talk to me. I am pre and postnatal qualified. So if you are a bit unsure, then do come and have a chat. But that is where I would begin personally, like doing that and doing it a couple of times a week as well, and just kind of monitoring your progress as the weeks go on and see how you feel, how you're holding yourself and how it feels doing those exercises. But just make it a real focal point that you're going to do it at least twice a week, even if it's just 10 minutes and that's all you can fit in. But that's what I would do, and just stay consistent at that, and you can really rebuild from there, and then you'll be feeling so much stronger in everything else you do. I seem to have come to a standstill with my weight. I have lost almost half a stone in the first 2 weeks, but haven't lost any since. I'm doing more than the 3 sessions a week. I'm going on walks and drinking the right amount. And although my diet isn't perfect, it has changed. Other than detoxing every other day, I'm not really sure what to do. Okay, so I would say if you've lost almost half a stone in the first 2 weeks and not lost any since, at the start of your journey, you can lose a lot of water weight at the beginning, which, some of it, of course, will be most likely fat tissue as well, but a lot of it will be water weight too. So it can be really rapid at the start and then plateau off a little bit. And don't forget, particularly as women, our weight fluctuates with a lot of different things. So many factors go into the actual scale weight. And I would say you want to be monitoring your progress in different ways, which is really similar to the next question, actually. So you've been drinking the right amount. So you said already, you're drinking your water. You've made positive changes to your diet. You're doing more than 3 sessions a week with fitness. What's your sleep like? Just be making sure you're still ticking off all the boxes. And it's the patience game. It's the long game. Now, if you feel like nothing is happening and nothing is progressing, you don't need to be detoxing every other day. Definitely, absolutely not. You need to have a look at your diet. Remember, we want to be nourishing the body. We want to be our body's best friend. We want to be really encouraging our body to repair, to feel energized, to feel fantastic, give our body the vitamins, the minerals, and nutrients that it needs to thrive. So, with all of that in mind, we don't want to be detoxing. Like our liver and kidneys detox for us. We have natural detoxes. Water, great. That is flushing everything out. We don't need any quote unquote rubbish marketing ploys that are gonna be bad for our body and who just want our money. We don't need any of that. Our body detoxes itself. So we need to be making small tweaks in our diet. Get some consistency with your diet. And then from there, just manipulate the portion sizes. So drop your portion sizes by 20%, leave it for 3 weeks and monitor your weight. It's got to be, if you are going to weigh yourself, same time every single day. Take the lowest weight of the week, and compare that across the weeks. It removes any fluctuations, so we know what we're actually working with here. That's how you need to do it. So also look at how you're weighing yourself if you want to do that. But it might be worth taking progress pictures, because you might be improving your muscular tone and strength. So you might be improving your muscular tone, reducing your body fat, but that isn't a reflection on the scale weight, yet your body is completely changing, like for the better, and you look so slim and amazing. So yeah, food for thought on that one. But that's what I would do. My weight's just not shifting, so I want to focus on other goals for a little bit. Ideally, something where I can see measurable progress. Any ideas? Aha, yes, absolutely. And I think that's so important to do that. You know, weight on a scale doesn't tell you the whole picture. Like, again, body composition might be completely and utterly changing, yet the scale doesn't depict that. So I would take progress pictures. You could do those 6 to 8 weeks apart. Also, you could give yourself a little aim with workouts. So choosing a stronger release for 4 weeks and increasing your weight over that time. So do it as it is for the first week, and then the week 2, 3, 4, progressive overload, increase your weight so you can actually feel and see yourself get stronger. That would be amazing doing that. You could also track how many steps you're doing. You could track your sleep. You could track your food. You could track your energy, your stamina. The small wins, you could have a journal every day where you write down 3 good things that you did that day and work with yourself. You could measure your body composition, so your muscle to fat ratio. You can do things like measuring your hips, your waist, etc. ratio, all those different kind of things, or taking progress pictures. But the best thing to do is, like, what's your sleep like? What's your food like? How are you showing up? What does your progression look like in your workouts? Are you getting stronger? How are you showing up? What, as a person, has anyone mentioned, like, oh my gosh, you just got this new energy value recently? Or, work with yourself. But there are a few things that you could do. So yeah, workout steps, strength, etc. Next question. I've just lost. I've lost where I was now. Yes. Okay. I snack a lot throughout the day. How can I reduce this? Look at your meals. Are your meals balanced enough? Are they filling enough? Are you basing it around protein and then adding in whole grains and veggies and salad, and bulking your meal out with some veggies and salad? Like, are you having some healthy fats as well? Like, why are you snacking? So it's not a case of, I'm doing this, what can I do to reduce it? It's, I'm doing this, why am I doing this? Approach it with curiosity, work out why you're doing it. Why are you snacking? Is it because your meals aren't filling enough? Is it because you've got into bad habits? Is it because maybe you're not eating enough protein? Is it because you feel stressed? Is it because you're bored? Or is it because you've got so many nice, yummy things in and they're just right there all the time and they're really easy to grab? Like, why are you doing it? Work out why and then tackle it, because there'll be so many different reasons why. So ask yourself those questions now. Is it because I'm bored? Am I really stressed? Am I not eating myself? Am I not fueling myself properly? Am I not eating properly? Have you looked at all of those things first and foremost? Because that is how I would tackle that one. And just, yeah, make sure that you're having regular meals, regular meal times, and that they are balanced enough and that they're big enough as well. When will my bladder settle down at night? Secondly, I feel motivated at the moment, but worry about losing the feeling and returning to a cycle of bad food choices and no exercise. How do I keep hold of that motivation? So firstly, yes, your bladder will settle and you'll get used to it, but I would be having a look at how much water you're having just before you go to bed. Like, don't be drinking gallons and gallons of water just before you go to bed. Allow a bit of time for your body to adjust as well. But yes, it does just, and you do get used to it. Feeling motivated, generally speaking, when you first start something, so you first start a course or anything new, we usually feel motivated, like human nature says. We normally feel motivated for about 2 weeks. That's when our peak motivation is usually. And then we experience a bit of a dip. We get the dip. And when we experience a dip, what's important to remind yourself is that this is just a moment in time. And I can't rely on motivation if I want to make these habits last. So we have to rely on our routine, to rely on the routine that we built up in the habits. So if your routine is every Sunday, I plan my classes for the week ahead and then I show up for them, then you do that. If your routine is every morning, I set my alarm for 5 to 6, I roll out of bed and I go to the 6 a.m. class, you do that. Even if you don't feel motivated, you do that because you said you're going to do it and you've got to show up for you. Now, it's also really important to know that we are human and we're not robots. And part of the process is at some point, we are all going to feel like we've made not great choices with our food and not great choices with our exercise. And it is going to happen and it is part of the process. So it would be really unrealistic for me to say that, no, you know what, you just don't rely on motivation, but just keep going and you'll never make a bad choice ever again, because it's not going to happen. But what we do have to know is that it probably will happen. And what we're going to do is, if it does happen or when it happens, we draw a line and we move on straight away. And that doesn't mean that we decide like, I'm right, I've eaten so many snacks, I'm not going to have my dinner now. Or I've done really bad this weekend, so what's one more day? I'll start again on Monday. It's not that. It's, I'm drawing a line from this moment right now. Okay, what do I need? So it's no over restriction, it's no over compensation, it's no negotiation that, oh, I've already spilt a bit of milk, so I'm going to stand there and pour the whole carton out. It's none of that. It's okay, that's just happened. That wasn't ideal. How am I going to respond? Right, let's just move on from this. Okay, I've planned my classes for the week ahead. Yeah, I've done this. I've got some healthy meals planned for tomorrow. And it's about being logical and rational with yourself. So when it does happen, drawing the line, moving on, don't think about it. Don't think about it anymore, because it's not about what happens, but it's about how we react to it that actually ends up having an effect. So don't rely on motivation, rely on your habits and your routines, and also know that we're only human. But yeah, motivation, it's just, it comes and goes all the time. So we just can't rely on it. So we keep going and showing up for us because it feels good and it becomes part of just what we do. Does stress have a correlation with weight gain? Any tips for stress management, like dealing with pressure at work or a sick family member? Yes, stress does have a correlation with weight gain. So when we feel stress, our adrenal glands, they release a stress hormone called cortisol, which is kind of like our fight or flight response. And cortisol does actually have some really important functions in the body. So we do actually need cortisol in our bodies, but it can have a correlation with weight gain because it can affect how we crave foods. It can affect our hunger levels as well. So we tend to basically eat more. So it's more of a behavioral thing. So when your cortisol levels rise and when your stress rises, it affects our behavior due to the fact that it makes us crave certain things, or it makes us feel more hungry, or we feel like in this state of emotional stress. And then we tend to eat more, or we make poorer choices with our food. We want that quick sugar and that quick fix because our body feels like it just needs some energy right now. So yes, it can. And I would say tips for stress management. So when you are in the moment, when you're in the moment and you are feeling stressed, I personally think something like just some breath work. So some box breath, which is where you breathe in for say 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, breathe out for 4 and hold again, and making yourself go through a few rounds of that until you feel a little bit kind of clearer headed. Make yourself do that, or take yourself away and go make a cup of tea. It's like a little hug on the inside, and allow yourself those couple of minutes. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't do that. I don't have 2 minutes. I just can't. I'm so stressed right now. I need to do this, need to do this. What you actually need to do is stop. And the most productive thing that you could do for yourself and probably everybody else around you is just to literally have a minute. Just have a minute, breathe, make a cup of tea, like anything else like that. So when you're in the moment, that is what I would say. I would also do a brain dump. So writing down, I have several to-do lists and I write down everything that needs to be done or any ideas that I've got because when it's on paper for me, it's out of my head. And that is a huge stress management technique that really, really works for me personally. So I would try that. Also, getting into a regular routine of doing more yoga, Pilates, holistic work, which is more mind body doing that kind of thing. So, for example, when you are in a Pilates class, all you can think about is the Pilates class. Like you've got to be thinking about how you're breathing, how you're moving, how you're meant to be holding yourself. You can't think about everything else going on. So I would get into a more regular routine with that. Make sure you are making time for relaxation. Get yourself outside, get out in nature, just some light physical activity, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. It can just really, really um, really change how you show up. And I think with with having a sick family member as well, like that's really tough. It's so tough. There's no denying it. And I honestly feel like when I've been through similar things myself and any kind of anything's going on in the outside Lorna's life, I honestly think that doing the classes is the best thing because it's that little time, that little pocket of time where all you need to think about is what your body is doing in that moment, in that present moment. And I spoke about this last week on a reel actually, because I find that sometimes, like, yeah, getting out in nature is great, going on a walk is great, fresh air, totally would definitely say do that and going out on runs and things. But quite often, when I do that, if I've got a lot on my mind, that'll be going round and round my head like a little merry-go-round on that run. And sometimes that's good because then I like sort it out in my head, and then I feel like, right, okay, sorted, done. I've ironed everything out that I need to, and all I need to do is like walk myself through it. Other times, if it's something that is out of my control and just won't be getting resolved anyway, it just makes it worse. So I find doing a class, it gives you that capacity because it's that space away where actually I am in the middle of Pilates class. Lorna said I've got to tuck my pelvis under, squeeze my butt at the same time as pushing through my heels, rolling up my back like a Mexican wave and breathing out through my mouth like I'm blowing out a straw. And I've got to hit all these different things to make sure I'm engaging the right muscles. And 20 minutes of doing that and you think, oh, right, okay, it's just that it's that step outside of what's going on. You haven't had you can't there's no space to think about anything else because that's what you've got to think about, and you've got to really zone in on what you're doing, think about your body. So I really find that doing the classes helps just deal with everything else going on in life, and that goes for pressure at work as well. And know that you come first, and if work gets so pressurizing that it's having an effect on your health, don't forget that for the majority of us, we could be replaced like that. Your health does not come at the expense of work, ever. Woo, preach. Okay, next, where do I find time to exercise? Okay, finding time to exercise can be so tricky, especially if you were just like at the start of your journey. So it's something that you're not used to making time for. But again, without our health, we don't have anything. So it's so important to be prioritizing our health. I personally find scheduling workouts like I'm making an appointment in my diary or calendar are really important. So it becomes like a non-negotiable. I also find that doing shorter workouts if I don't have much time is really, really useful. And that's a lot of people think, oh, I haven't got any time. And actually, they have got 10 minutes and they have got 15 minutes. They just don't see the point in doing it, where actually there is so much point in doing 10 or 15 minutes. So just break it up into smaller chunks. You could even do that throughout the day. Or, if you did 15 minutes every day, it adds up. It adds up over the week. Just make it a non negotiable. And if you really don't have time, make time by getting up earlier, even if you don't want to, because then also you know that it's done. And if you're somebody who maybe you've got to sort the kids out and then you've also got to go to work after dropping the kids off, you come back and then you're taking them to after school club or swimming, and then you've got to make the dinner and then put them in bed. And then by that point, I don't even know what time it is. Get up early, do it first thing. No one can touch your time then. That's your time. Do it then, even if it is just 15 and 20 minutes every morning, Monday to Friday. That's your time. That's mum time, untouched time. And then we're ready to serve everyone else. Like, you just need your time first. And that's how I do it. So it's a case of finding the time, but finding the time where it would work for you, where you know you'll be able to do it, even if it means getting up earlier. I've never felt my hips before, and now I'm certainly aware of them. They ache a bit. Could this be from the extra classes and lots of stretching? I'm not worried, just wanted to mention it. Okay, well, yeah, maybe. It could be that your hips are maybe feeling it after being a bit more active in ways that they wouldn't have been previously. So increased movement, stretching, maybe even a bit of strengthening there as well. So it could just be a sign that the muscles are being worked in a different way to how they have been before. But if it ever feels painful or if it persists for a long time, it might be worth going to see like a healthcare professional or a physio or somebody. But if it's not a concern for you, then I wouldn't worry either. Should I have a rest day when aching quite a bit from a previous day classes, or is it better to stretch the muscles out with another class? It really depends. So if your muscles are feeling a little bit sore, but you're not in pain and there's no sharp pain, maybe some gentle movement or lower intensity exercise like yoga or power walking could help. But if you're feeling like your body actually really needs a rest, then take it, because recovery is just as important, if not more important, than the workouts themselves, because that is how we actually get stronger and we get fitter. So, really important to listen to the body and be okay with that as well. Like, your body needs rest, it is where we get stronger. And if you're somebody who is so used to being so active, it can be quite difficult to allow yourself to have that time. But, or you just switch the workout. So yeah, you either allow your body rest, we don't do a workout that day, or we do something that might help the body to recover. So like some stretching, some yoga, or you might even want to do some Pilates or something like that. Yeah, that is what I would say. That's what I'd suggest. What's the best exercise for recurring neck pain or strain? Now, if you are in pain, I would definitely, again, go see a physio medical professional. But I would be focusing on movements that really like open up that area. The things like neck tilt, shoulder rolls. Um, in fact, if you go into the desk workouts area, there's a whole neck, shoulder, upper back release. I would definitely go on there, and the stretch area as well. So have a little look at that. But all kind of upper body, yeah, neck tilts, rolls, and all the ones like I would do that one. It's a really short workout, but like a really good one. Oh, there's also some yoga as well for upper body and shoulders and neck. Yeah, type in neck and then type in shoulders and then type in upper body, put them all in your favorites, and then you've got some brilliant ones for releasing tension there, and just put them into your routine. You could even use them as bolt-ons. So after you've done a live class or an on-demand class, you could just do like a bolt-on just to help release that. And maybe be really wary of how you're holding yourself, your posture during the daytime, and also if you're under any stress, like how do you hold yourself? When I do some of the leg stretches, my legs shake involuntary. Is that normal? Yeah, it can be. It can be totally normal, especially if you're holding a stretch for a bit longer or a bit more intensely, or activating muscles that you haven't really been engaged for a while. So shaking can happen when your muscles are being fatigued or stretched in a new way. So it's not anything to worry about. What is magnesium? Supplement, not metal. Is it a needed top up like vitamin D? I'm in my late 50s. Who needs it and what's it for? So, magnesium is an essential mineral that really, really helps with, it helps with lots of different things. So, it helps with your blood sugar regulation, it helps with maintaining bone health, it maintains with muscle function, sorry, and with nerve transmission and so many things. So it's really important. And yeah, it can especially be helpful for people who are in their 50s, and it can help with, I don't know if you've heard of people who take it before they go to sleep. It can help with relaxation and getting into deeper, more restorative sleep as well. And in turn, energy, stress management, etc. But it's always a good idea just to check with your healthcare provider if you need to supplement. So I can't say yes, you definitely do, but that is what it's useful for. Could I ask about pre-menopause weight gain and how best to banish it? Are there any supplement recommendations? Okay, so pre-menopause. So this would be perimenopausal weight gain, and this is the period before you are uh, medically menopausal, which is 12 months since your last period. So if you haven't had a period for 12 months, then you would be deemed menopausal. But anywhere up to that point, or since your last bleed, anywhere up to that point is the perimenopause. And for some people, it can last for years. It can last for like even a decade. So that is the perimenopausal stage, and it's a stage of fluctuating hormones and lots of different hormonal changes. So if you find that the weight is starting to creep on, these are the things that you want to be doing. And you might also notice that it starts to creep on like the midsection because our body prefers to store weight around the abdomen. And it is because of a decline in estrogen. So as women, we go from this pear shape into more of an apple shape. And that's where we now store our fat preserves. So, or any excess fat. Strength training is number one. You want to be doing that minimum twice a week. So get yourself some, I would say get a barbell, get yourself a barbell, make sure you are strength training at least twice a week. Also, be making sure that you've got a diet that's high in protein. Base your meals around a protein source. We want to be keeping as much lean muscle mass as we possibly can. And then be looking at your food. So you want a balanced diet, and we want to be eating healthily, you want to be eating healthy fats, etc. But also look at portion sizes. So a lot of people, grab spoonfuls and loads of chia seeds, and then, right, I'm going to have half an avocado, which is great, really healthy, but also very dense in calories. So be looking at our portion sizes. We may need to slightly drop portion sizes potentially. Just little tweaks here and there. So balanced diet, be monitoring. I would keep a log of what you're eating and how it makes you feel, making sure that you're having protein at every single meal, and making sure you're strength training twice a week. But aside from that, is things like, make sure you are staying hydrated, you're getting enough sleep, you're managing your stress. Sometimes, we're going through a lot of hormonal fluctuations. Sometimes, if we are feeling stressed and our cortisol levels are high, and then we go and do a HIIT workout, that further increases your stress in your body. So you're putting your body, which is already stressed, under more stress. And then that's not going to help with our cravings, with our hunger, and then what we choose to eat, etc. So sometimes it might be important to be incorporating more yoga Pilates as well, just to help with that side of things. Magnesium, vitamin D, calcium, they could all potentially be good supplements to have, and also omega-3s as well. But again, I would just check with a healthcare professional before starting any new supplementation. But they're quite common ones to supplement with during this time. And also be maybe eating more foods with phytoestrogens. So they're plant-based, but they mimic what estrogen does in the body. You can just literally Google it. It's PHYTO phytoestrogens, and you just get a list. It's in loads of foods, like probably things that you may already be eating, or things you can easily get in the supermarket, like strawberries or like oats, berries, etc. Things like that. But there's a huge list. Chickpeas, there's another one. While doing Pilates, which I love, yay, why do I find myself breathing in when I'm supposed to be breathing out? Vice versa. Does it just take practice? Yes, totally. Yeah, it's completely normal. Like breathing properly in Pilates, it can be really tricky to get a handle of at first. And then once you've done it a lot and you kind of also know how to breathe through certain poses, it becomes second nature. So we want to be focusing on breathing into the back and sides of the rib cage, and then exhale through the mouth like you're blowing out a straw, drawing in, navel in towards spine. That's how we breathe. But in the moves, generally speaking, try and remember this. If there is an effort required, breathe out. So if you're lying on your back and you need to sit up and do a crunch, for example, you're going to breathe out to sit up. And if you're not sure, try it the opposite way. So try it both ways and then see which one, where do you feel stronger? And some of the moves, it can be personal preference. So sometimes the breath can be personal preference. There's not always a hard and fast rule for every move, and generally, really, it's like where do you feel the strongest? But Yeah, and just keep doing it. Practice makes perfect, as always. Are there any cool downs I can do? Yes, absolutely. Head to the stretch area. There's loads, absolutely loads in there. So I'd go holistic stretch area and take a little look. I need advice staying on track and fitting in classes. Okay, so this is really similar to what we've spoken about already. And to stay on track, you need to make it part of your routine. I honestly think you do. So that might be, and this is why I think doing the morning classes, like Monday to Friday at the same time, just becomes part of what you do. It becomes part of your routine. It becomes a non-negotiable part of your day, habit, and then part of your identity. Or you might be someone who you're going to do it at your own time and you do it 8:30 every day. So when Lorna's uploaded it, right straight on it. Or you might be a lunchtime worker outer, or a 5:30 or a 6er when you get home from work before you make tea, or when the kids are gone to bed. But whatever it is for you, make it part of your routine. And I think personally, doing Monday to Friday is easier than doing like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in my opinion, because I just do it every day then. It's just part of the day. Or for some people, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is great, or a weekend warrior, but just find where you can make it non-negotiable. And just like I said earlier, make it an appointment in your calendar, write it in your journal. And if life just gets in the way, be flexible with it too. Like know that you can move these workouts around and you're in the best place to do that. Like if you can't do the live class, well, do on demand. Do on demand like whenever, later on in the day. Everyone's got 10 minutes later on in the day where they can just squeeze it in. Everybody has. So if we really want to make it happen, we make it happen. But every Sunday, plan your classes for the week ahead. Get into routines as quickly as you can and stick to those routines. And if they're no longer serving you, try a new routine. Try something else out. Are there any healthy snack or lunch ideas? Oh my goodness, yes. If I would say look at the nutrition area. So there's a couple of when you first go on there, there's a couple of recipe books with different ideas in. There's another one towards the bottom as well. So if you scroll down, there's loads of ideas in there. We've also got a healthy shopping list, a list of inflammatory foods on there. So there's loads of ideas on there. But just really simply, fruit is a fantastic snack. Greek yogurt is a great snack. Hummus, carrot and cucumber sticks. I really like those. I think they're really good snacks as well. Nuts and seeds, but just be careful on the portion sizes on that one. You even have like a small bowl of porridge or cereal as a snack. Some whole grain toast with peanut butter is also really nice. If you're going to go for things like cereal bars, try and go for more like your whole food varieties and less processed. So things like, the naked bars where it is literally just made out of like nuts and dried fruit. Something more like that is better. You could even go for protein bars, but they are processed. There's no going around that. But if you need some more protein in your diet, it's not a bad thing. Lunches, things like, protein like chicken, some salmon. So you could have salads or you could have wraps, whole grain wraps, veggie and hummus, all different kind of things like that. Sweet potato, cottage cheese, even like soup, whatever you fancy. I even quite often have eggs on toast for lunch because I love it. But all different ideas like that. You probably get some better ideas from the recipe books as well. But there's just a few off the top of my head. I quite often have a tuna salad at lunchtime actually. I really like a tuna salad, good tuna salad, yes. But there's a few ideas for you. Anyway, that's all from me, folks. I hope you've enjoyed that. Please do let me know. And if you're listening to it on the podcast, please do leave a rating and a review because that helps us to help more people because, well, I think it works the algorithm or something like that. Anyway, I don't really know how it properly works, but it definitely helps push it out there so we can help more people. And if you are listening to this and you want to join us, come and join our 6-week reboot course. Or if you know anyone who does want to and just needs that little boost with their health and fitness, then please let us know. And Squaddies, we have Squaddie version as well. So if you just need that little extra boost and little extra help, then you know where we are. Anyway, gang, hope you enjoyed it and I will see you at the party. Or of course, well, I'll see you before then anyway. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, everyone, and I will see you soon.